Welcome to Telling Tales. Because my last reading from r/MaliciousCompliance was so well received, I've decided to do another one, this time with 6 tales. But before we get into them, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for making my first video so successful. Now onto the readings. So our first story is There Are No Restrooms in the Army, submitted by D. Does Dallas. My first few months in the army was spent in a squad with another soldier who gave absolutely zero F-bombs about the army or impressing anyone in it. We were out pointlessly sweeping a giant parking lot one day in the middle of a dust storm when he told the NCO, a very large and very dramatic man, that he needed to use the restroom. NCO replied immediately, "There are no restrooms in the army, private!" Now we all know he was implying that the military term was latrine and not restroom, but this guy says, "Oh, okay," and just whips out and whizzes on the ground while making eye contact with NCO. 2 days, lots of yelling, and at least 100 push-ups later, he did the exact same thing. Props to his dedication. Now I don't know about you, but you certainly wouldn't catch me doing that. Well, to each their own. Our next story comes from Drunken Peanut 97 and "Send money to claim my long lost inheritance? I'm in." One day I decided to have some revenge when I received one of these calls. The scammer was giving his spiel about how a long lost relative of mine had died and I was the one to inherit the millions that was solely left to me. Playing along, I acted very excited and asked what needed to be done on my end. He said that a legal firm needed a payment of $5,000 in order for the relevant paperwork to be processed. This is where I had a bright idea. I said to him that I did not have $5,000 in cash on hand, but I do, however, have a load of new electronics come in for my business that I could send to be sold. He jumped at the opportunity. So I went into my shed and started wrapping up a broken washing machine I had. I also had filled the drum with multiple yellow pages to give it even more weight. When I organized a special courier to come pick up the massive parcel, I said that the delivery fee would be paid in full at the other end. With the delivery fee totaling over $500, I paid a small deposit and off the package went. A few weeks later, I got confirmation that the parcel had been picked up and the full invoice paid on collection. I wish I could have seen the scammer's face when he opened it. It's always nice when a scammer that's probably scammed people out of tens of thousands of dollars gets scammed themselves. This next story comes at us from Mercinator 704 and Suspension. So this one happened to my father, an electrician, a while ago. He was working on a house and apparently did something wrong while putting up the ladder onto the house. He didn't have to work for the next few days and was a bit of a rush to get out of there. One supervisor decides that this was the last time and storms over to my dad. "Excuse me, you did that wrong." "How so?" "You were supposed to have BS reason that changes nothing, so we have to ask you to leave for endangering others. You are officially off your shift." "Well, I'm still getting paid for the day." Yeah?" My dad pulls out his phone and calls up my mom. "Hey, it looks like we can go to Michigan early." "Aw, don't worry, I'll explain in the car." He starts walking towards his car before the supervisor stops him. "Where do you think you're going?" "I'm off the clock, I can go." Another worker pipes in. "Isn't this supposed to be a punishment?" Supervisor snaps. "It is!" "No it effing isn't. He's going on a damn vacation." By this time, my dad was hopping in his truck and about to speed off home. Oh, can you imagine the look on that supervisor's face when he realized what was happening? No More Nice Things by Hot Tabasco Sauce. During my middle school years, I was a bit of, well, I was a little I was pretty responsible and for the most part, stayed out of trouble, but would constantly bicker and fight with my sisters. My poor mother is a saint, and I still don't know how she managed to put up with us at times, not to mention always managed to put an amazing dinner together and always would seem to be the last second. Anyway, at the end of a rather exhausting day, my sisters and I fighting constantly, we all sat down for family dinner, and I don't remember much about the dinner other than I know we were having a pasta dish of some kind. I know because I didn't like red sauce and preferred just to have Parmesan on my pasta, so I filled my plate and said something rude to my sister, but I can't remember what. My mother snatched the cheese off the table and told me, "You can have the cheese when you said 3 nice things about each person at the table." Without missing a beat, I said, "Mom, your mustache looks nice today." My poor, exasperated mother threw a bag of cheese at me and exclaimed, "No more nice things." We still laugh about it to this day. Well, you'd never catch me saying that to my mother. Our next story comes from Becca M&R and "I'm holding your dog wrong?" Fine, you do it. I work in a vet clinic where the majority of my job is holding animals for the vet to do his job. Now I get that some owners are super attached to their pets, as I love animals too. However, some clients go a bit too far. Guy comes in to have his very fluffy golden looked at. He is a good dog, not mean or anything, but he is a big dog and did not want to be on the table, so he was struggling to get down and very wiggly. So I'm holding this dog. Dog is straining and wiggling, but I'm good and I've got him. Owner insists on helping and keeps saying that I'm holding his dog too tight. I'm choking his dog and his dog will have a stroke if I don't loosen up. Now thankfully, my vet is backing me up saying she knows what she is doing, let her do her job and stuff like that. But this guy won't let go. Vet finishes part of the exam and turns away to the counter to write on the chart and look at a slide. So now that I'm not endangering my vet, I decide to give this guy what he wants. I loosen up on his 100-pound plus dog, and since he has been crowding me the whole exam trying to hold him, I let him. Now, I don't let go completely because I don't want the dog to launch off the table or get hurt, but I definitely want this guy to struggle a bit. He doesn't have a good hold at all. The dog is struggling and pushing against him for probably a good 5 minutes. When my vet is ready, I take back my good hold, and wouldn't you know, the dog settles back down and the owner finally backs off, just resigns himself to patting and babying his dog instead of trying to hold him. He was all red-faced and out of breath, which made me more than a little happy. What I don't understand is when people try to take over when that is literally the person's job that they do week in and week out. Well, at least one of these people learned the hard way. Our last story here has a little bit of r/entitled parents sprinkled in here. And this one comes from Orange Famta and why you should always taste the food before you complain, because some employees don't care if they commit assault on the job. For a little bit of context, I work at a Mediterranean restaurant, and during our lunch rush we get so many orders that making everything fresh is impossible, so we use water heaters to keep things warm. One of these is our tomato bisque soup, which is very popular and comes with shredded mozzarella on top. So on the particular day, lunch rush was bigger than normal. We were rushing around like crazy dealing with food and cleaning and everything. One family comes in and the mother orders the aforementioned soup. So the girl who's working the cold side of the kitchen, we'll call her Sarah, is filling the cup and in her rush burns herself pretty bad. This soup is effing hot. So I bring it out in its styrofoam cup to the woman and she picks it up and without tasting it decides it's not warm enough. I don't want to argue, so I take it back and everyone's peeved. Our grill guy, who we'll call John, is especially miffed because Sarah burnt herself and this lady thinks it's cold. So John takes the soup, puts it in a pot, puts it on the stove and cranks the heat all the way up. This damn soup spends 10 minutes engulfed in flames. He takes it off the stove and it's charred black on the top and bubbling like crazy. He puts it in a cup and I take it out to her and set it down and head back to the kitchen. Not 5 seconds later I hear a primordial roar of "Ah, it's hot!" echoes throughout the store. She never said anything to us, but Sarah yelled back, "You said to warm it up!" And that's the day that me and my coworkers committed battery on the job. Well, I guess the entitled mother got what she asked for. I hope you all enjoyed these stories from r/MaliciousCompliance. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to show your support and be notified when a new video is uploaded. Alright everyone, I'm heading out. I'll see you on the next one.